one wants to live with roommates, especially ones that aren't paying any rent, right? So they, we went to the seller, said, listen, inspection went well, but we do want to get this issue addressed. The backup offer, the offer that was second, actually waived their inspection. So the listing agent called that agent and basically said, hey, like, I think this is going to be come back together. Are you guys still good to waive your inspection? And the guy said, yeah, absolutely. Well, when I talked to him again, I said, you have to disclose that there's mice in the house now, right? Like, you guys may not have known before, but now you know. Like, we have the evidence here. And so obviously they went back, had the conversation, called back a couple hours later and said, yes, we'll take care of the mice. Let's keep this thing together. So it all worked
Money
out.
can fix some mice.
I mean, that is unbelievable. That agent, that's my whole thing that I've been going through, is that these agents, they're new in the market. They have no idea what they're doing. And you had to give him advice on what he had to do next. Her, sorry. But you got to get out there. You got to use an agent, a mortgage person who is knowledgeable and in this industry for some period of time, right? Because you're getting these people that have been in here for 2 weeks and they just don't know what they're doing.
Becky, there's this, and Harry, let me jump in real quick, and you guys might counter out with this a little bit, is it's desperation a little bit. You want your offer accepted. Kyle wants his offer accepted. The family's found the house. It checks all the boxes, and it's got these small problems. They're willing to overpay. Money can fix a lot of problems. Comment on that.
I mean, there is FOMO right now. We talk about this, where it's that you want to win, and I want to win at whatever it's going to cost, and I don't care. I just want to win that offer. It's like when you're trying to find the Xbox or the PS5, right? It's a stupid price, but you just want to win and just so you can say you have it, right? And I feel like some of that's happening where people are losing their heads when they're making these offers. And I think, like I'm all about animals and PETA and they're cute, but you're right, I don't want to live with them. And the fact that it was even a question whether it was going to be disclosed or not is kind of like a little bit on the unethical side of things. And I feel like people need to kind of have a calm head, and part of that is what, to John's point, is that professionalism that comes into the arena when you're dealing with someone that has experience. You can't put a price on that, and we're here to advise you, but you got to make sure that once you own this house and you waive your inspection and you paid $20,000 over, do you have another $10,000 to fix something that might come up with the pipes, the furnace? If the answer is not yes, then waiving a property inspection or private one for yourself is off the table. You gotta be able to rest your head at night knowing that you have good bones in this house.
Yeah, there are big things and there are little things, right?
Right. Well,
that you have to fix. So I would tell you this: it's more emotional to buy a house now than ever it has, because you're showing the same people 10, 20, 30, 40 properties. There's overbidding. There's multiple offers. They're losing so much. And then when finally they feel like they're going to win, they're doing some things that normally they wouldn't do. And everybody's at their emotional, they're very susceptible emotionally. So you say waive the inspection, or you don't disclose that there are mice in the house and all these. How do you not do that? So it becomes, you ready? Well, we know, do the right thing, or you're going to let it slide. Listen, I'm falling on the side. Look, you guys know me for a long time. All right. Doing the right thing to some people, they don't want to hear it. They don't. Kyle, they don't.
Well, and that's the one thing that, buyers understand. Buyers, agents, we understand this is as much of a seller's market as we've ever seen. But like you said, there's still right and wrong, right? So make sure that you're still doing the right thing just to protect both sides of a transaction.
Yeah.
We're talking about that feeding frenzy of purchasing a house, trying to get your hands on a house. John Kolb up north is no different. And as the weather improves, you got the Masters on. Families are getting the itch to get out on the golf courses, John. They're headed up north now to buy that property.
Yeah, it's busy up north. I mean, I'm up there 3 out of 4 weekends, and there's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of people. It's great to see. I mean, it's gas prices aren't helping, but hey, we still get out there, enjoy your life. The market up there is unbelievable. There's hardly any houses on the home. Everyone's doing renovations. So, that's the type of thing that you just have to be aware of. And with this new Fannie Freddie hit that they have for second homes and investment properties, less and less people are buying these homes because of the increased interest rates and costs.
Yeah, just taking a little bit more of the down payment side, getting up to 20% on an investment. If you want to buy that home, for sure, minimum 20% on the investment side. Go ahead.
I mean, the second home, so I have a client right now who's buying a second home in Florida, pre-retirement, right? He's eventually going to live there as his full-time property. But literally, the interest rates and what they did to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, it's almost I don't know. It's a disservice because the interest rate, it's almost worse than if someone was buying a 20% or a 25% investment property. You know, it's a top of tier credit, 20% down, all the things, well qualified, and the rate is just out of this world. Just, it's unfortunate because prior to this, what we're talking about is a second home was the same exact rate as a primary, right? You just had to put 10% down.
Exactly.
That was the other caveat. Well, they flipped the script to try to offset some of this, buying frenzy, as John was mentioning, where, you're trying to, they're jacking up the rates. And that's a little bit of what's happening right now to this buyer's market. They are trying to temper the market, but there's a lot of cash out there. And no one, with this whole winning thing, people are still going to be buying these houses. It's just in a matter of time of when they reset. And we're going to look at some refinances.
Already, rates are higher. They're not catastrophically higher, but they're higher. When we come back, we'll talk about mortgage rates, how to get you to win that house offer, and a whole lot more. 248-539-9797. We'll be back. Alrighty, welcome back to the show, 9:15. If you're just joining us, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We're powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289, Equal Housing Lender. Special guest, Kyle Lang, of course, Remax Dream Properties, Northville, Livonia, all Southeast Michigan. Kyle, tremendous years the last 2 years. We're going to talk all about appreciation, we might not see that kind of appreciation in 2022 as things are kicking in, but maybe we will. There's, I walked in this morning with that. You see a lot of people starting to make predictions. I forgot, it was the old sports announcer, Don Shane, told me something about predictions. He goes, Harvey, when I make a prediction and I'm wrong, everyone reminds me. And when I'm right, I want to remind everybody. Well, these predictions are sort of nonsense when we talk about this bubble. Kyle, you had a different view on it. Talk about the people that want to talk about that there's this real estate bubble. I don't see it.
Like, what data do you have to support it, right?
Yeah.
So I run
Fear?
a big, exactly, it's fear. So a big portion of my business comes through Facebook marketing. So I run a lot of Facebook ads. And when someone reached out to me and we share the price with them on a property, they'll say, oh, that's overpriced. The house is only worth $60,000, or I'm going to wait for the market to crash. And I tell them all the time, if you don't look at the data, I would say you're right, because I mean, there's nothing else to support it. It's supply and demand's the number one rule of economics. There's not enough inventory out there. We were talking about this before the show, Becky. Mortgages are more stable now than they've ever been before. The process and how you have to, go through that to get pre-approved for a mortgage. So I don't see it. And people all have positive equity in their house. So if you're in a position where you're going to lose your house, just sell it.
So people like to remind everybody about that what happened in 2006, 7, 8, and then subsequently the market fell apart thereafter. We're in a different time. It is not going to happen that way. And people say, well, it happened, Harry, and you just want to go ahead and lend money to everybody that wants to buy a house. Well, the standards have gotten tougher. There's no question about it. It's harder. Now, we have to go through more steps. People have to jump through more hoops. They have to provide more information. So those of you out there saying, well, listen, are we going to go through the same thing again? No, we're not going to go through the same thing again. And house appreciation is appreciating more rapidly. And all you have to do is take a look at the numbers and the math. It's very easy. Supply and demand. There are more buyers out there for homes than there are houses for sale. So therefore, what's going to happen is you're going to continue to have a seller's market. There's still going to be a lack of inventory, and the prices are going to continue to go up. Now, people say, but Harry, aren't higher interest rates? Now, these are not high interest rates. If you look over the last 50 years, these are not high. They're still on the very low end, right? So take a look at that. It's all a matter of perspective. They're on the low end. So they say, but aren't higher interest rates going to force some people out of the market? Well, that always does. But what it does is it raises the floor. It just means an entry-level house is going to cost you more. You're still going to make the payment, and your payment's going to be way lower than it was in 1981, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through 88 and 90, and even into the mid-90s. So, guys, everybody out there, just don't panic. The panic should be, I hate that word, but the panic should be in, when is there more inventory going to come on the market, Kyle?
Yeah, well, we're doing our part. We had 7 new listings that hit the market this weekend. All pretty nice. We'll plug those ones later for us. But
good.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the lack of inventory. So I did some research because I feel like the thing that separates the really good people from this industry, from the great people in this industry, is knowing your product, knowing what's going to go on, and knowing what's happening in the market. So there's been 2 that I would call catastrophic tanks in the market since housing became a thing in the United States. One was when the stock market crashed back in whatever that was, 1928 or whatever. And then you had in 2000.
1929.
The other recession, yeah.
29. Okay, 20. Sorry.
It's okay. You're close.
And then 2008.
Harry was 10 then.
Thank you. Thank you,
He
John.
remembers it well.
Yeah.
And then in 2008. So there's been 2 in, 100 years.
Yeah.
Is there going to be 2 within 12 years or whatever it's been, 14 years?
No, I mean, okay, so to
Probably not.
piggyback on this point, right? History repeats itself, but it doesn't repeat exactly. So here we are, and we're seeing a tough market, but opposite of what we're talking about. So in 8, 9, 10, it was a buyer's market to the extreme. Homes were sitting on market for months, right? And you're trying to think of creative ways to get buyers, and they'd be like, oh, the roof looked like it had a spot on it. I want you to replace
Yeah,
it, right?
right.
So the buyers are making these egregious demands, and sellers were having to accommodate that. Well, here it is flipped to the extreme, and it's also going to weed out some of these, these pretenders out there, right, from the agents, right? Because now it's an extreme seller's market, and the buyers have to go over and above to try to get their offers accepted, and they're still losing, right? But that's what's going to separate. And as far as the rates and things like that, so if someone told you in 2006, 7, right, your home was going to depreciate 20% in 8, 9, 10, would those people still buy those homes? Yes, they would. And here we are, people buying houses in 2020 and 2022, and you have this constant looming of this bubble. If someone's going to tell you that your house is not going to appreciate 20%, it's going to appreciate 5% in 23,
It's a good number.
24, you're still going to buy the home because you're not driving a lease. You're not driving it off the lot. It's not a depreciating asset. And the whole market is completely different than it was. These are well-qualified mortgages.
And you need a place to live. So what are you going to do? I mean, you need a place to live, and you're going to live there for a long period of time. You have to look long-term, right? If you're going to live there a long period of time, what's the difference right now?
When the other part of that too is the buyers these aren't bad appraisals. You can't control. You have people that are going above what the home is appraising for. These are the buyers assuming the risk right now because they're choosing to. This isn't where we're out here calling Joe Schmo and be like, hey, I need this one to come in at 50,000 over. You can't do that. You're not doing that. Nobody's doing that.
That was a quote, by the way.
I'm going to throw some numbers out.
Remember that?
248-539-9797. It's a Hardcore Mortgage Show. We want to hear from you. If you're buying or selling a house, you got to deal with the experts. We'll talk about the professional team later. If appreciation was only 3 or 5% on your $300,000 house, you do the math. 300,000 at 3%, that's $9,000. So again, 7 years later, you've got about $100,000 in equity. That's huge. That's about a 25% increase, somewhere between 5 and 10 years. The numbers are outstanding. Hey, guys, let's talk about how you can win this offer and take a look at improving your credit score. Okay, in today's competitive marketplace, we're going to go back to that math after. I'll do the math again.
7 by 9 is not 100.
220, 221.
Okay, I'm getting there.
It's all ball bearings these days.
9,000 times 10 years. All right, 90,000 in equity.
Don't worry about
it. Turn yourself into a conventional buyer. There's no difference to us if you're FHA or conventional. In fact, we'll close it just as fast on an FHA loan, maybe even easier in sometimes. But if you turn yourself into a conventional buyer, Kyle, it sounds a little bit better in today's competitive marketplace. That's something a buyer can work on. Fix your credit score up. Get that professional team together right now. Give us a call. What do you think, Kyle?
Absolutely, yeah. These guys have tools and there's ways to show you how to improve your score, what to do to improve your score, and what your score will increase to move you into a conventional mortgage program.
Figure out what you can afford. 28% of your housing expense, maybe up to 45%, Harry. Some people got to take a double look at it. Sometimes we do the numbers and we're only using one income. My wife just had a baby. She's not working, but she might go back to work, and now we've got a dual income, and that changes your debt-to-income ratio and might allow you to afford things a little bit differently. We got some other programs to talk about all morning long. Definitely 248-539-9797. Got Tiger Baseball. We've also got Red Wing Hockey here on 97.1 The Ticket later in the day. Pat Caputo coming up with sports. New tips for buyers. I threw it out there last night. I wanted to write down a few things. Food for thought for you guys. I like that experience, building that professional team right away. Again, if you're thinking about buying a house, interview 1 or 2 mortgage people, give us a call at Capital, find out what the differences are, and then we can always introduce you to a Kyle Lang or someone who's great, who's been on our show, to really put your team together, because we're still getting people that aren't pre-approved. I talked to, I'm going to say 2 or 3 people this week, they're clicking buttons on the computer still, and they're dealing with complete strangers, and they're not setting themselves up for success, John Cole.
Yeah, I mean, I took a call the other day that was, the guy was already pre-approved by another online company, and when I ran his credit and pulled everything up, I said, hey, guy, you're not qualified for the initial loan. You're not qualified for an FHA loan. This is what you have to do to get your credit fixed up. And, you know, if you give $500 to one of those online companies, they're just going to give you a piece of paper, and, 3 weeks into a process, you're not going to know whether or not you have the house or not. You got to get with somebody who knows what they're doing. You got to get with a real professional. And I'm sorry, but the online phone jockeys that Harry likes to call them.
Headset fast food phone.
Yeah, headset phone jockeys.
I'll take the number 4.
Yeah. Just press the button and I get an approval. It's just not going to work. And agents like Kyle, when they see that those offers coming in with those pre-approvals, they're going to say, hey, look, yeah, this looks great, but, it's lipstick on a pig.
Well, it's all about experience, and what I like about what we do is that we're very experienced. Now, in this market, Kyle, you have to have experience. Plus, when you get a pre-approval from a lender that you recognize, you know it's pretty solid. Had a transaction the other day, went to the closing, both realtors. This is unusual in the market, right? Both realtors, very experienced, sell a lot of houses, list a lot of houses. In all my years of doing business, normally when an offer is accepted, how many phone calls, texts, and emails do you get from the realtor during the realtors during the transaction? 100?
No,
okay. 100. I got 2, and we closed in 28 days. So experience matters, and it's a comfort level for you to know who you're dealing with.
100%. And this is it's a reputation industry. And I understand that there's a lot of people that work in this industry, both on the lending side and on the real estate side. But when you're working with professionals that have a reputation to get the job done for you, it's going to make the transaction for you, the home buying process for you, so much easier.
And that could win the deal.
100%. All the time.
I mean, so like, okay, so two things. One, I have an accepted offer on a property, and they called me last night. I saw literally the offer came through my email. I'm working 9:30 at night, whatever, and I see it come through that they put in this offer. So immediately, I do my thing. I'm reaching out to all parties. Literally, my phone rings at 9:45. It's the listing agent, right? Had I hesitated to answer the phone call, I would have missed it. We had a great conversation. Literally 10 minutes later, offers accepted. Why? Because who you're working with truly does matter. And sometimes it's not even these online lenders. You have local lenders that just got in the business even or haven't been in it for very long, and they don't know how to deal with these rates increasing the way they are. They don't know how to have these tough conversations. There's a lot of buyers out there that you're spending 60 days, Kyle, working with, and they have no idea what their payment is. So now you have an
Nonstop.
accepted offer, and you're like, oh,
I
I
wish
had
it
no
wasn't
idea
true.
my payment was $1,700. Had they worked with a real professional that can handle that kind of stuff, they would know, and you're not wasting your time, and people are not panicking last minute.
All right, we got tons to share with you. Got Kyle Lang here, Remix Dream Properties, Becky Yaley, John Culp, Harry Glantz, myself, Harvey Freed. We want you to call at 248-539-9797. Find out how we can help you save your money. If you're thinking about listing your house, we've got some great advice. Keep it here on 97.1 Ticket. We'll be right back. Alrighty, so much fun stuff to share with you here on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Show. If you are selling or buying a house, give us a call, 248-539-9797. How about at the office all weekend long? Get a real approval letter, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker, over 30 years mortgage banking experience right here in your backyard. Yes, experience matters. We'll talk all about it. Again, you could be brand new to the industry and you might be very, very good. Kyle, I've met a lot of great people who've been in the industry over the last 5 or 6 years. They are fantastic. So it matters who you are and where your passion lies. And again, putting that team together, as we so often talk about. Again, we want those calls at 248-539-9797. I got a whole bunch of things I want to jump into, and one of them is definitely going to be the cost to redo a kitchen nowadays with the materials and things. Kyle, this has to do with your buyers. Again, when we're doing mortgages for families, sometimes we prepare the 20% down buyer, but the house they fall in love with, turns out it needs to be updated. It checked 5 of the 6 boxes.
Do you want to talk about the cost of doing a kitchen or how long it's going to take to do your kitchen?
Harry is
Oh boy,
sweating right
I
now.
hope nobody I know is listening to this because they know
Your
what the story is.
contractor,
Yeah,
Harry?
my guy, my friend, all my people. How you guys doing out there? Where were you yesterday?
Well, I didn't even want to go there. My uncle remodeled a house down in Florida, and he really came back with me and said, Harvey, it's unbelievable. The workers that showed up to the house and who actually did the work and were passionate about it and were there on time and no excuses. And then the dingling guys that were referred by the guy down the street.
I love my guys. I do. I love it. I love them more when they show up.
Okay.
All right. I love them all, but I love them more when they show up. That's all I'm saying.
My uncle's a painter, and so he deals with contractors all the time. And his time management is awesome. Like, he's done so many houses for us, and if he says he can be done by the 15th of the month, he'll be done by the 15th of the month. I said, your retirement plan is you're going to teach these other contractors time management and how to actually meet expectations because you make a killing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, let's talk about a little bit the numbers, though. I mean, definitely, you walk into a house and you might want to save that extra money to redo that kitchen. Average price to redo a kitchen, Becky, $45,000. That's the average.
I mean, at least, yeah.
Some people are getting them done for 25, and obviously the people that are putting high-end appliances, they're going to get up into 6 digits. And again, you're going to get some use out of that. You're going to get, Kyle, 67% return on that type of thing. So again, kitchens, bathrooms, living spaces, these are things that we've really focused on during the pandemic.
100%. And I always tell people too, when it comes to things like that, like if it's what you want, if you're going to be living in this house for the next 10 or 20 years, overpay for it because you're going to get the enjoyment out of it, right? There's so many updates that you can do to a house. People say, well, how's this going to add the value? I was like, I can't tell you what dollar amount this is going to give you when you go to sell your house. But if it's your house, you're going to spend a lot of time here. If you're going to get the enjoyment out of it and you can afford it, do it.
I'm really enjoying my crawl space, Becky. I'm really enjoying my crawl space, Becky, that we spent about $7,000 on. But go ahead, Becky, and
Like,
tell
I'm
us
going to
something
sit down
good.
there, But I mean, really what Kyle's saying is once you own this property, if this is where you're going to stay and you're going to want to stay there for at least 5-6 years because you overpaid for it anyway, right? You went above the market. So if you're renovating your home, you're not going to renovate it based off of what you think you're going to get the return for. You're going to renovate it based off of the quality of life that you are trying to live. I have, I bought a house. I had to redo everything. I got lucky. I have a really good contractor. I really, truly do. He knocks it out of the park every time. Finished a basement right before the pandemic hit, which was perfect timing. But I don't care if I would ever sell my house. I don't care that I put this great decorative wall up and it looks so good in the basement because I'm staring at it and I love it. And if you don't want to pay me an extra $5,000 for that, okay, I don't care because I'm looking at it and I'm enjoying it. And that's what you have to do if you're doing these renovations. You're doing it for yourself. Unless you're trying to flip, then you might want to put a little bit more lipstick on the little picky.
Yeah, for years we've been talking about quality of life. It's a quality of life issue. If you're going to be in that house and you love it, don't worry about what the return is going to be. Now more than ever, don't worry about it. Enjoy your life. Enjoy what you're putting into your house and just take care of it. Look, we've all done it. John, you've done it many times. Becky, you've done it. Harvey, you've done it probably more than anybody in this room, okay? You built a lot of houses and you've done a lot of things. And Kyle, what I'm saying is that you just have to enjoy it. You can't worry. If you're going to spend the money anyways, you can't worry about what type of ROI you're going to get. That's it.
Yeah. Well,
What does ROI mean?
Oh, boy. ROI, return on investment. Thanks.
I'm in the
Geek.
process of building a house
I'm
right
a
now.
goof.
Oh, you are?
And my wife she's stressing about it was this much, now it's this much. I was just like, it's fine.
It's like HGTV. It's always going to cost more, right?
If we like it, if it's what we wanted, if we can still afford it, just do it.
That's outstanding. I didn't know. How many square feet are you building?
Just under 2,000.
Oh, I got to get with you if you need doors and stuff. We might have a couple contacts for you, or trim or something like that.
Oh boy,
There's
Harvey's always got somebody.
Well,
in
we
his
want his
pocket.
house to look really nice and not like builder grade. We want to step it up a little bit so you can get that top dollar.
Well, and I disagree with your 67% rate on your investment because I think in this market, if you put something nice together like Becky's decorative wall,
You'll get it
you're-
back.
You're going to get it back because
Yeah.
people are overbidding for those homes. So
I get it.
really are.
I think
that
right now, I think that's it's important to put the nice furnishings in if you're going to sell 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But if you're going to stay there for 10, 15, do it anyways because you're going to love it even more. I mean,
Yeah, I
when
think it's
Harry's-
situational.
When your kitchen is done in 2024,
I'm going to be happy, right? I'm going to be happy as I'm laying in bed and getting up in my wheelchair. Yeah, I'm going to be happy with my kitchen. It'll be great. It'll look good. That's what I say. You know what? When it's done, it's going to look good. But in all seriousness, I think that's the attitude you have to take. I think it's situational. Right now, you put those improvements in your home, you're going to get a nice return on it. So don't worry about it. Just go ahead and enjoy what you're doing and enjoy your life.
I've got a client that they bought their house in the beginning of 2021. They paid $217,000 for it.
Okay.
3-bed colonial, about 1,600 square feet in Canton. $217,000 they paid for it.
Yeah.
A little over a year ago. They redid everything. They're having another baby. They're outgrowing the space quicker than they thought they were. They're ready to
325.
I comped it out and I had a double triple check because like is this right? 335 is what we're going to list. it
Harvey
at,
Freed.
and it'll probably go for more than that.
345, 350 on a 1,600 square foot house. Folks, the homes out there are going, the appreciation is through the roof.
On a 217.
Be prepared. Again, they did the right things with their house. They're going to make some money on it. And if they would have enjoyed it for a few more years, they could stay there too and enjoy it.
100%. Yep.
All right, the cost to redo things, again, you have to have some experience here. Kyle knows, he's gone through it a few times. When you're looking at a house, if your agent isn't talking about these things when you're walking through the house and pointing out all the other things, I mean, everyone can ooh and ah. I mean, you're walking through the place, ooh, ah. I mean, we all know what the master bedroom looks like. The agent, Kyle, when I hire people, I want my lender to bring something to the table. I think I do, and I want my real estate agents to bring something to the table. Tell me something that no other agent's going to tell me.
All the time people will reach out to me and say, hey, we're getting ready to sell the house, but I got to do this, this, and this first. And I always say, hey, before you break your back, like you're busy, you have kids, you're taking them to volleyball practice, you're doing all these things, you're working 40 hours a week. Let me come by because in this market, you probably don't need to do what you're thinking of. So one, you could save yourself the money, but also save yourself the time as well. So talk with the professional first, have them come out, take a look because all those things you think you have to do, you probably don't have to do.
All righty, refinishing hardwood floors, throwing in some new insulation, new garage doors, new front doors, things that are attractive and can bring you money in the future. Those are great. And then also the structural things that are most important. Putting a brand new roof on, at least your neighbors can see it. Again, finishing crawl space is not so sexy, but we had to get it done at our house. You might too. Make sure you call around, find the right people to do it. Find people that have gone through these type of experiences, and you'll get better advice and you'll have better projects. And Harry, we got to talk about your project. We'll talk about Harry's project too at a later date here. We'll be checking back with Harry to see how that's working out for him later in August. 248-539-9797. Guys, again, we do mortgages for a living. There's some new programs out there that have been around a long time, but they're making mortgages, make people think about it a little bit more. The 2-1 buy down, that's back on the books again. Again, find out more by calling Capital Mortgage Funding. If you're just calling around and you're not getting information about some choices and some options for you, call Capital 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. You'll find an experienced staff that can go over all these different opportunities for you and options for you. It's so important.
Yeah, if you're working with a lender that's always serving you vanilla ice cream, you need to stop because every situation is different. Every mortgage is different. It's the same, but it's different. My financial situation is different than John's, Harvey's, everyone in here. And just because your sister bought a house 6 months ago at X rate and you're trying to buy a house right now, that doesn't mean that you're going to get the same situation because the market's different, your financial status is different, and what you're looking for is different. So we do have a plethora of programs, pretty much anything that's out there we can do. The MISDA right now, that's really big right now, helping people get into homes that are really trying to stretch their dollars because they are having to overpay, and working with that qualified professional because you either fit in that box or you don't. And it's important to know because sometimes agents are using that as a get your foot in the door with some of these buyers, and then they're talking to us and it's not even in their wheelhouse at all.
I had an agent that works for me that she ran an ad for that, and she's like, I had 15 leads come in. And I was like, all right, let's see how many of them are actually going to qualify for that, because if you get one, I think you should be very excited. It's a very specific program that not everyone qualifies for.
We're still getting calls from people that are just clicking buttons on the computer, and it's a good way to check out houses, but then you're dealing with inexperienced people, and that's what we're finding out, and that they're not truly approved. If I say it another 1,000 times this year, it won't be enough, that people are still not getting themselves prepared the way they need to in today's competitive marketplace. If you want to call us and give us any of your family members, we'll find out quickly just by going over some real basic stuff with them. John Kolb, you mentioned it. We talk to, when people call us, we ask them some real tough questions, such as, have you sent any of these documents to the other lender? Did they ask you for these? And so often, John, the answer is no. We get it every day.
Well, it's not even have you sent your documents in yet, right? It's just the knowledge of what you're looking at, and you got to make sure that you're dealing with somebody who's going to know what they're looking at. The gentleman I spoke to yesterday, I only took 15 minutes of his time and basically said, "Hey, buddy, I know you're pre-approved from the other place, but you're not going to be able to do this program that you're looking at. It's got a credit score requirement that you're below. It's got an income limitation that you're above, and there's things that you have to kind of know, and there's just people out there just approving, and it's not working."
Becky, I noticed that too. A lot of the families that are calling us too in 2022 have had recently done loan modifications. They might have did a forbearance, and again, the way their lenders took care of that are different. There's about 3 or 4 different variants, maybe even more, 5 or 6, where people were allowed to reduce their principal, where they had some separate HUD loans where they have to get a payoff. There's a quiet lien on the house. Becky, they need to call us quickly so that we can prepare them to do maybe a future cash out refinance or get that where that mortgage is being reported. And a lot of these families got to get off that 40-year term. They're never going to pay off their house.
Okay, yeah. So when COVID was at its height, there was a lot of like, you can skip payments, right? And some people that didn't even need to do it, they're just like, oh, I get to skip my payments. And they just took advantage of the situation. And guess what? They didn't read the fine print because there was no mandate for how the lenders had to handle it. So every lender handled it differently because it was not regulated. So some added it to the end of the loan. Some said, okay, it's been 6 months. Now you owe me $30,000, whatever the situation might be. And, coincidentally, I had a client that called me right at the tail end. And I said, look, you have to make a payment right now, because if you are at the end of this, they're going to put you 120 days down and it's going to be a problem. Well, they did make the payment, but in the process, the servicing was changed. And so the payment didn't hit from their old servicer. And guess what? It showed up on their credit as 120 days late. So I identified that. I knew that we were within a 60-day time frame because I'm experienced and we know this, and they can't report you late within a 60-day time frame of a transfer. So I made them flip it, reverse it, and we got the late removed, refinanced it, saving them $1,000 a month, and all is well in the world. So
Becky,
who you work with matters.
That's one of those documents, the RESPA servicing disclosure. I didn't know. I just signed a whole bunch of documents. I don't know what I signed at my closing, but that's one of the many documents you sign. All right, tons of great information. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. We'll be right back. No, I won't get in trouble with Harry. I won't say the wrong thing. We are back here live in the studio. I grew up watching this old house. Some of you hire a real estate agent, they grew up playing PlayStation in their mommy's basement, Grand Theft Auto. I mean, who do you want to hire? You tell me.
Oh, he's getting angry now.
1-800. Call us at 1-800 Low Rate Capital Mortgage Funding. Here live in the studio, you got the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show in our 23rd year. And we're trying to give you the best advice possible, buying and selling houses. We're going to do a little housekeeping. Of course, Kyle Lane joined us, RE/MAX. We'll get back to purchases. But first, let's just dive back into refinances, of course, because the party's not over, guys. Families have lots of opportunities to refinance. There's many reasons. Again, Becky, you mentioned it. If you did the modification loan, if you got that quiet second HUD loan because you did forbearance, call us now. Let's get your refinance back down to a term where you can really make some headway and pay off this principal, pay off this mortgage. That's important stuff.
Well, what about paying off credit card debt at 18%? Let's do the math. Is 18 better than 5? I don't think so. So, Harvey, there's still plenty of opportunity for people to go ahead and consolidate debt to save money. That's what we're all about. We're here to help you save money. And certainly refinancing to pay off high-interest credit card debt is the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I told a client the other day, you cannot look at this interest rate. Yes, you're at 3.25. Yes, you're going to 5%. You just can't look at the interest rate because it's all about the dollars out of pocket each and every month. And right now we're going to be saving them, what was it, Harry? $1,400 a month that we were saving that client. And yes, their interest rate's going up, but what we're paying off is going to put them back on the track to be able to live life and enjoy themselves.
But the key is, everybody, we all talk about this every day, the key is you can't run those credit cards back up again. You're doing yourself a huge disservice. So, yes, we all need 1 or 2 credit cards. I get it. Maybe you need a gas card. Maybe you need that one department store card. You need a MasterCard or Visa, okay? So that's where it stops. But don't run it up again. Again, we're putting you in a position to succeed. We're going to save you $1,200 a month. But if you run it up again, we just can't continue to go ahead and allow that to happen. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to your family.
Yeah, we don't have it. We're not here to say your home is a piggy bank, but the reality is that the last 2 years were hard on everybody, right? Some people, we were fortunate. We could work remote. Not everyone can do that, right? So now you have all these unemployment benefits that expired, and people did have to kind of extend themselves credit-wise on their, to survive and make their payments and make sure that they were not going into default on certain things. So guess what? Now that you're back in jobs, everyone's full-time, it's time to reevaluate your current situation and possibly a cash-out refinance in these appreciating markets. Let your home, that biggest asset, do its work for you because your payment overall will be less, like John's describing. So.
Yeah, but again, you'll see it, Harvey. You'll see it. You'll see a lot of ads. You'll get a lot of crazy mass mailers. You'll hear a lot of weird stuff on the radio and see it on TV. It's not for everybody. You need to sit down. When I say sit down, you need to talk to a professional and do the math with that professional, see if it's right for you.
Right. If you have a land contract, if you're a land contract holder, give us a call at the office. Get your buyers to get their mortgage now. We'll set them up. Again, a lot of people have to get organized, show 12 proof of payments. If you go FHA, you can actually pay off your land contract and do a cash-out consolidation loan. John, you said it. It doesn't matter. If you're saving money, you're saving money. The younger generation, though, buyers that bought in the last 3 or 4 years, they've got these all-time low interest rates. John, these rates, maybe they won't go that low again, but there could be an opportunity. There's an election in 2 years, and the way the economy in the world is, possibly rates could change in the future one way or the other.
I got the over.
Right. Well, I mean, hey, we've all been through this, right? I've been, in 2000, rates were at 9.25 when we were writing loans. You know? And so we've all seen the ups and downs. And if you're not with a lender who hasn't seen the ups and downs, they don't know how to, manipulate it and make you get you into a situation that you're going to be successful in. And calling your current servicer, don't do it. They're a servicing company. They know how to collect payments and manage your account. They do not know how to originate loans or figure things out. Call us. We're the ones that are going to take care of you. It's just, I had another call yesterday that they called their current servicer and they lost a pre-approval on a home because the servicer told them they didn't qualify. I ran their credit. They qualified just fine.
Exactly. They just don't know.
They don't know.
All right, Kyle, fun and exciting stuff on the purchase side. We always like to talk about. Definitely purchasing home is so fun and exciting. And then, of course, the pandemic brought something really cool, this remote work thing going on here. So now there's can't find that home in the city, want to be in walking distance to a town, but also I can live further away from work. I don't need to be near the office. And it's opened up some areas, and people are looking at housing a little bit differently.
Absolutely. Now everyone wants, they need at least a 4th bedroom or they need an office space because they're working from home or they're on a hybrid where maybe they're working from home part-time. So It's definitely something that's been super popular. So if you have a house that is like that, a lot of houses that were built in like the late 90s, early 2000s had that den just off the entryway. That den is now a home office for most people.
All right, we all know mortgage rates are primarily on the rise. They've been on the rise. It's not when are rates going to go higher. They've already gone higher, not catastrophically higher, but they definitely have gone higher. There's been, John Cole, maybe a couple days sprinkled in there where the pricing got a little bit better. If you're fortunate enough to maybe sign a purchase agreement that day and be already approved and ready to go, you might be able to lock in. And there's also a difference if you're going to lock in. Kyle, you're building a new house. I mean, you can't lock in for some mysterious. You might have been done for 6 months, 8 months, 12 months on that house. We have a new construction lock program. Of course, call us at Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. If you're building new construction, call the experts. Also, you know what's really cool? To have us, John, on your team when you're signing that purchase agreement. I myself have probably closed a huge, I don't know what the amount is, of new construction transactions. I know some things you might want to look out for.
Yeah, you gotta look out for the fine print, right? Who's going to be paying the transfer tax, who's going to be paying the owner's policy. Things that are normal in new construction, but you just got to point them out because they're not going to. The builder, the real estate agent on the builder's side is not going to point that stuff out to you. So you got to make sure that you've got somebody looking at things for you, and that's on your team. And quite honestly, we probably should charge for those services, but we don't. And we do it out of the goodness of our heart and make sure that people are getting themselves into a good scenario.
I actually want to comment on that. So I had a conversation last night with a young buyer. She's in a residency program. We have a fantastic physicians program out there. Fantastic. It's literally, I don't think anyone can really compete with us in that market right now. But anyway, so she spoke with me and she was like, I'm not sure if I want to buy, I'm only going to be here in the next 3 years. And I was like, okay. I'm like, well, let's talk about it. What are you paying in rent? Your payment on a house is going to be less than what you're currently paying in rent. And in 3 years in this appreciating market, you're now going to have a profit. I was like, so when you're making your decisions, you need to make sure that you're looking at it from that perspective. And she said, okay, well, what do I owe you for these conversations? And, for you to for the pre-approval and whether I'm going to do that. I go, you owe me nothing. I go, if you talk to another lender out there and they ask you to put $500 on a credit card before you had
Run.
2 conversations, I go, you need to look the other way and really evaluate who you're discussing with. I was like, because at the end of the day, I'm here to advise you whether you choose to use me or not, because I'm here to do my job. And luckily, I'm good at my job, and you're going to see that as soon as you interview other people. So, we don't charge anyone. There's no application fee. An application fee doesn't even count in your APR. So when people go around saying, what's your rate and what's this and what's that, if someone is charging you $500 to have a conversation, their APR might be the same as mine, but their costs are for sure higher, and you need to reevaluate why they're charging you that, because they're trying to trap you.
Hostage money. We don't deal with terrorists, that's for sure. The realtor's role has never been more important. Experts in the local professional industry of real estate. They manage the whole process. You're getting your buyers hooked up with us, and we do right back to you. I have a pre-approved buyer. I send them to one of my qualified real estate agents so that everything works out really fine for them. That's how it's got to work nowadays, Kyle. And I think that's even how you're training your staff.
Absolutely, yeah. Make a relationship with a lender that you trust. That way you know that your client's going to be taken care of and in good hands, because it's an extension of myself when I recommend someone to John. So I know that if he's not doing a good job, which he always does, that's a bad reflection of me. So make sure you're working with somebody who is holding up their end of the deal as well.
All right.
Yep. Kyle, so you said you got 7 listings that came on the market.
Here we go.
Where are these located?
So we got 2 open houses actually. So today from 1 to 4, 41837 Rayburn in Northville. 3-bedroom ranch, 1.5. You're not going to find too much below 400,000 in Northville right now, a ranch especially. Wow. So really nice house. 247 Wainwright's going to be open tomorrow from 1 till 4 p.m. and that's in Novi. 289,000, 3-bed, 1.5 bath, finished basement, beautiful house. We've also got a beautiful condo out in Brighton, 4515 Golfview Drive, 3-bed, 3.5 bath, golf community, walkout basement. One of the nicest house I've seen us list in recent memory. 35028 Ellen Court in Livonia as well. So 4-bed, 2.5 bath for $375,000.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be bid up all the way. Okay.
Yep. And then last one we got that's still available. We had 7, but 2 of them have already sold. 27 Marion Drive down in Monroe. 3-bed, 1 bath, $165,000. So we've got plenty of inventory that's coming from our end, and hopefully we can help some people out.
Really great to see. All right, Kyle Lang, of course, you got to catch out Kyle at Remax Dream Properties. Look them up, and if you want to see any of those homes or get in touch with their team, they'll get you all set up for approval letters, and you're out there looking for a house. We can get you in there right away.
And they won't be written on a piece of loose leaf paper.
Wow.
I don't
That's
know
real
what we
life.
saw this morning. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what we saw this morning. But hey, let's wrap it up, guys. We got Pat Caputo coming up with sports next and social commentary. Thanks to Kyle Lang, of course, Remax Dream
Thanks for
Properties.
having me, guys.
John Cole, Becky Alley, Harry Glantz. I'm Harvey Free. We'll catch you next Saturday.